of the things that I love doing when I'm not at work is actually mentoring young women, and I get so inspired by what so many young women are already doing to mentor other women. And one of the people that I've recently come into contact with and I'm so inspired by is Sarah. Sarah is from South Sudan. She's absolutely amazing, and she has been studying international relations at USIU. And Sarah, you and I met through Masai Ujiri of Giants of Africa, and I remember coming to basketball camp and seeing what great work you do with girls. And just tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you're doing and how you've found sports being like a really unifying factor, particularly when it comes to refugees.
Well, there's so many problems and struggles that these girls go through on a daily basis. And some of them are cultural. Early marriage and, lack of education as well. So that motivated me to want to put a team together and just help these girls get off the streets and just help push them to where sports can actually propel them, which is what happened for me.
Okay, and how did that happen for you? I mean, you're obviously very tall, very beautiful, and I feel really short next to you. But how did you kind of stumble onto basketball?
I was actually forced into it by one of my principals in high school.
In South Sudan?
No, here in Nairobi.
Okay.
Yes, at Laser Hill Academy. Mr. Wary just thought I was the tallest girl, and I was at the time. So he said I had to take some sort of sport, and I tried different sports. I even tried swimming and almost drowned, so I decided that was not for me and ended up getting into the game. And it took my mind off a lot of things that were going on back at home. Here and there, hearing somebody has died, got shot, the war and everything. So it was a place for me to just unleash all my frustration. It was a safe haven for me. So I started to enjoy the sport. I started to improve, and I started to get looks from different universities, and I thought, wow, okay.
But you're not a refugee, though.
No.
Okay, but the work you're doing is mainly with refugees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how and are there lots? There are lots of refugees from South Sudan in
A whole
Kenya.
lot. A whole lot.
At least 50% are women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the challenges that some of the women refugees face that we sometimes don't think about?
Things as simple as pads. As it's an issue.
Okay.
Some of them are living with family or living with just good Samaritans that pick them up maybe from the camp, and they're now in Nairobi or in Eldoret in different parts of the country. And it's really difficult for them to open up and just go, it's that time of the month.
Yeah, exactly.
Something as simple as that.
And and how do you help them, and what do you do to
I just let them be free with me, be a big sister, and just be a mother to some. Some of them.
How young are some of these girls?
Oh, 17, 13.
And how did you put the team together? Were they people? Where did you find them?
I went to watch some of the high school national games, and I saw a couple of tall girls, and it hit me. I might not be able to play for my national team, but they do have a chance to do that. So I thought to put the team together off of that, and I told them to spread the word, as many girls as we can get,
Wow! And you just told me the other day that you're going to go back to Juba.
Yes.
And one of the things that you're going to go back and do is to try and have a Christmas Day lunch. And tell me about that. Are they homeless?
Homeless folks, yeah. I went home in August for a basketball camp, just promote peace and unity. And so one of the days that I went downtown trying to get some food, and I remained in the car, and some guy came through the window, and he was about my age. And he just kept pointing at his stomach, and I said, okay. So I put the window down, and I said, yes. And he just started going into he's hungry and stuff. So I decided to come out of the car and sit down with him, and I asked him what his story was. And he was one of the soldiers that, after he got injured, they were brought to town and they went to the hospital. And after a while, they were cut off from paycheck. And No one followed up, and so now he was homeless. He has a child and a wife somewhere in a different town, and he cannot help them. He can't even help himself. So that motivated me to, you know, look for a contract that I could, you know, raise some funds and come back and do something for these people.
And you're going
Christmas.
back in the next
Yes,
couple of days,
I'm
and you're going to do
excited.
that.
Yes,
That's really great. And how many people do you think you're going to feed?
About 500.
Wow, that's amazing. You should be so proud of yourself, Sarah. How old are you?
Thank you. I'm 31.
31.
Yes.
And you've finished your first degree, or
Master's.
you did finish your master's?
Yes.
And so, what's the plan for Sarah now?
I look up to you, so I am absolutely looking to learn everything from you and looking to register a company, not a company, an NGO, where I can just help as many people as you know I can, that I can come across.
And I know next year is going to be like a really big year because it's the 15th year since the Darfur crisis, and the big sort of the first time that the worldwide attention was drawn to the plight of refugees.
Right.
It's also the 15th anniversary of Giants of Africa, and I know when I was in Toronto a couple of weeks ago talking to Masai about the focus that the Giants of Africa are going to have on refugees and displaced people in the coming year. So I know I'm so excited by some of the plans to visit various refugee camps. And I was with Masai in Dadaab, as you know, in August, and it was just incredible to see, you know, just the interaction with the refugees, and you know, when you provided them with, you know, basketball shoes and basketballs themselves, and I mean, it was just great to see them just playing basketball and spending time. It just really meant so much to them. How many refugees are there in the various camps, like in Kakuma, and do you have numbers?
No, but they increase every day.
Wow.
And it's actually becoming an issue because about 150 come in every day. And that's just, you know, an estimate.
Wow. So do you actually have people that you know that are in the refugee camps?
Yes.
Yourself?
There's some girls that have been in Nairobi in high schools, but because of especially what happened in 2013 in South Sudan, a lot of people lost their jobs, and some of the girls actually had to go back to the camp because there was no support anymore. And yeah, there's a couple of them that have gone back, and I'm still in contact with the coach, the basketball coach in Kakuma. So it's a whole lot of.
Wow. And sports can be such a strong, like, motivating factor for these girls, right? And sort of give them some sense of purpose and some sense of feeling like they're part of the same sort of human tribe, I think. What do you think people can do to start thinking a little bit more? Because sometimes we think of refugees as a problem of UNHCR or problem of somebody else, but actually we can all, you know, do something to help the people that are living in these camps.
In whatever capacity, everybody can help. A few of my friends that have a South Sudanese youth mentorship program here in Nairobi, every end of the year we put whatever materials we have together, or money, or we just put it together and we send somebody down to Kakuma, because it's everybody's responsibility. We can't just leave it to the NGOs. Yes.
So, and what do they need? I mean, obviously pads for the girls, but clothes.
For the girls, pads, clothes, shoes,
food.
They basically need everything because they are like 100% depending on these organizations, and they cannot cater to all their needs. I had one of the girls from the team actually write me like, can I get Christmas clothes? And it really broke my heart because I cannot choose and pick one over the other. And so maybe get together with some friends, or, you know, people that are willing to help, and we can do something nice for them as well every year, other than the, you know, the stuff that we put together.
So like Christmas in the camps is just like any other day.
Yes.
Right? No, that's really tough. I know when we went to Dadaab and just saw, like, you know, the way people lived, and it's crazy because I think the infrastructure that was put there originally was 25 years ago, And I think it was to cater for something like 40,000 people.
Right.
And now I know when we went there, I think that, I mean, at one point, I think there'd been up to 1 million refugees there.
Yeah.
I know when we were there, it was down to about 300,000 or 400,000. But the infrastructure hadn't changed. It was exactly the same infrastructure. So it was just pretty, it's pretty rough.
That's terrible.
Mm.